Dormammu, I've come here to bargain. Dormammu, I've come here to bargain. Dormammu, I've come here to bargain. Hey everyone, hope it's going really well, and as promised, I'm back with my spoiler-filled review of Doctor Strange, the latest MCU film in the franchise. It's the 14th film in the MCU right now, and I just wanted to start this review off by saying a massive thank you to all the support I got through my non-spoiler review of Doctor Strange. All of you were awesome. I got some great feedback, and I got a great like-dislike ratio. So thank you all so much for that. And I'm truly grateful for all the feedback that I get from these videos, because I will try and improve. Every single video I will try and do something differently. I will try to improve. So let's talk spoiler-filled Doctor Strange review for this movie. Alright, so I got to see this movie at an advanced screening on the 26th of October, so very early, and my experience was very awesome. Basically, I got a show bag, I got a poster, a pop vinyl, the bag, and some other goodies. But I'm not going to go into that because we're here for the spoiler-filled review. I just want to clear that out, so if people think that my spoiler-free review wasn't legit, it was. I promise you, I truly did see it early, so I just want to clear that up. Alright, spoiler-filled review. Let's talk spoilers. Doctor Strange. I can talk anything I want about this film. Obviously, massive spoiler alert. If you haven't seen this film, please go see it in 3D, please, and then come back here, watch the review. Alright, let's start. So at the start of the film, we see Doctor Strange, and he's a neurosurgeon, as most of you would know by now. And he relies heavily on his hands. He loves his work. In fact, he probably cares about his work more than anything else. He's very selfish, very arrogant. And so he's like saving patients every day, day in, day out. He thinks that he's essentially put on this earth to save lives. So he takes a lot of pride in his work, and he also has a love interest in his work, Rachel McAdams' character, Christine, which I did not talk about in the spoiler-free review because I just didn't feel like she played an important enough part in the film for me to really delve into her character in depth in that review. So I left her out, but the chemistry between Benedict Cumberbatch and Rachel McAdams did feel on and off at times, so there's not really a lot to talk about with her character. It seemed like the actors had better days where there was more chemistry free-flowing between them. And then they had some not so good days where they might have been a bit bickery. They might have just been there for the paycheck. But it just didn't really seem like the chemistry was there. So it was a bit unconvincing, that relationship. That's just something I noticed during the film. If you think differently, that's great. Okay, so after he performs neurosurgery one day, he invites Christine to one of his functions, and Christine basically says he doesn't care about her, and he's inviting her because it's all about him. So Doctor Strange, as being Doctor Strange, got very defensive and started being a massive jerk towards Christine, and that sort of ended up in Christine fuming out and storming out of Stephen Strange's home. So Stephen Strange just went to the function by himself. So when he's in the car, he's listening to music, and he gets calls from the doctor's office saying about new injuries, even if he can come in and help the patients. But Doctor Strange thinks that this injury is not big enough or important enough for him to come and save the person's life. This surgery is not important enough. This surgery is not important enough. He says, call me some time when there's an important thing. So that is just the arrogant, selfish Doctor Strange I'm talking about. He would rather be at his function, which is celebrating him, than be saving someone's life. So karma eventually catches up to him, and he ends up in a car crash. And the result of this, he loses all of the nerves in his hands. So seeking help, he travels to Kathmandu and tries to find the Ancient One, which is Tilda Swinton's character, which was played very well by her. She was very well acted. I felt like the chemistry between her and Benedict Cumberbatch was very good. They seemed to get along great. The humor flowed between them both, which was also very good. So when he finds her, she opens his mind up to the possibility of other realms and other dimensions, which I thought was awesome. The visuals when she was showing him at the very beginning of their session what other realms there were was mind boggling, honestly. The visuals, in fact, I'm just going to come out and say this. Put this quote on the Blu-ray. Doctor Strange, visually, this movie is a marvel. I said it. Go, place it. Visually, this movie is a marvel. Blu-ray, do it. Alright. So, after that, we see the villain Caecilius. This is after Doctor Strange has trained with the Ancient One. And he basically wants to let the Dark Dimension in and take the Earth and transform it into another dimension in which Dormammu can come forth and grant everybody eternal life. So that's pretty much Caecilius' motivations. This is the character played by Mads Mikkelsen, by the way. He wants eternal life, but this doesn't really make a lot of sense, considering if you wanted eternal life, why would you be risking your life to have eternal life? It doesn't make a lot of sense. He's pretty much fighting a sorcerer for eternal life, but if he is killed, he won't even get to finish his life. So I thought his motivation was a bit on and off there. I understood where he was coming from as a character, and he was great as a villain. He looked great. The actual action and the actions that he took in place was great with him. His motivations were a bit on and off. So basically, they get into a big fight, and Caecilius destroys the London Sanctorum. We learn that there are 3 Sanctorums, and there is a defender for each one. And he destroys the London Sanctorum and causing it to crash into the Earth. So basically, Doctor Strange is basically tasked with defending the Sanctums and stopping Dormammu to bring the Dark Dimension into Earth to cause eternal life for its citizens. Okay, a lot of stuff I haven't mentioned yet. There's this great scene at the start with the Ancient One fighting Mads Mikkelsen's character, Caecilius, and his goons. It is the bit in the trailer you see the Ancient One. Well, you can't really tell it's the Ancient One. She's got a hooded cloak on it, and she's like going like this, and the building like rotates. It's at the start of the trailer. It's like really, really cool. And that was at the start, so that was awesome. And you got to see all of like the buildings bend. It was just amazing. Yeah, it was just absolutely incredible. So then after that, the Ancient One and Mads Mikkelsen's character Caecilius get into another fight. This is at the start of the big finale climactic battle where Dormammu is trying to bring the Dark Dimension into Earth and Doctor Strange is trying to stop Caecilius. So basically, the Ancient One and Caecilius get into a brawl, and I have to admit I kind of predicted what was going to happen in the theatre, but it was still a shock and all. The Ancient One is killed by Caecilius. Yep, the Ancient One dies in this movie. So, that was a bit sad, because I really liked Tilda Swinton's character. She was one of the better characters in this film, along with Benedict Cumberbatch's Doctor Strange. And I really liked her. So it was a shame when she died. But we get to see the huge climactic battle in which eventually Doctor Strange figures out that Dormammu is trying to bring the Dark Dimension in, and then we get this classic line. Dormammu, I've come here to bargain. Doctor Strange figures out that because he's found an object called the Eye of Agamotto that can turn back time, that he can lock Dormammu in an internal loop in which he keeps coming up to Dormammu and saying, Dormammu, I've come here to bargain. Now, it's a bit confusing when I explain it, but if you watch the movie, you'll understand. So basically, he threats to keep Dormammu prisoner if Dormammu does not get rid of the Dark Dimension, and he stops pursuing Earth. Now, if you don't know, Dormammu is a long-time villain of Doctor Strange in the comics. In that early Ditko run with Stan Lee, he was a major villain, and he's been a long-time foe of Doctor Strange. So it's really great to see him in the movie. Really unexpected. I did not expect him at all to be in the movie. He was not credited anywhere before I saw this movie. He is now, so that I looked on Wikipedia and I saw who Benedict Cumberbatch was playing, and it said Doctor Strange + Dormammu because Benedict Cumberbatch did the motion capture for Dormammu in this film, so that was awesome. So, in the end, Dormammu retreats, and because he doesn't want to become a prisoner in the time loop of Doctor Strange, so Caecilius ends up getting disintegrated essentially with all of his goons, and they all vanish, and the Dark Dimension is gone. It's gone from Earth currently. So I mentioned the Eye of Agamotto. What is that? Well, we learn that the Eye of Agamotto is actually an Infinity Stone at the end of the film. This is when Wong is introducing Doctor Strange about the Infinity Stones and the Avengers. And that was a really cool scene. So that means that essentially, if that's an Infinity Stone, Doctor Strange must have some input in Infinity War, which is awesome, because I can't wait to see this huge team up. Guardians of the Galaxy has been confirmed. Doctor Strange essentially has to be in it now, and the Avengers. That's going to be great. Okay, there is still a lot more I have to discuss. Okay, the Stan Lee cameo. He's in a train and he's reading an essay from the 50s. I cannot remember the name. I'm very sorry about that. That was a really cool scene. Of course, it's awesome to see Stan Lee in all these Marvel films. If Stan Lee wasn't in these Marvel films, I just don't think that they would be Marvel, because Stan Lee essentially is Marvel. When you think of Marvel, you think of Stan Lee. And Stan Lee essentially created all these characters, so it's just such a thrill to see him in these films. Okay. The other thing I want to talk about is the end credit scenes. Okay, so the first end credit scene was really good because we got to see Thor and Doctor Strange talking about Thor Ragnarok, and basically Thor's just like to Doctor Strange, can you please help me with Loki? And Doctor Strange is just like, yeah, I'll help. So that confirms Doctor Strange for Thor Ragnarok, which is just incredible. That is awesome. We're getting to see Doctor Strange next year, and so that's just great. This is my cat. Sorry about that. Alright, so that was awesome. Alright. And the second end credit scene, we get to see long-time Doctor Strange foe Mordo, who I haven't really touched on in these reviews because I don't really know how to explain this character. He's a mentor for Doctor Strange in the film, but he's actually a long-time villain in the comics. So in the second end credit scene, he finally realizes the truth, and this is the truth. Another thing we find out is that the Ancient One gets her everlasting power and her never aging abilities, so she can live forever through the Dark Dimension. And Mordo feels betrayed about this. So in the end credit scene, we see him he doesn't know who he is anymore. He doesn't really know. Let's just say he's a bit flustered about this whole Dark Dimension. He's struggling to figure out if the Ancient One was a good person and if Doctor Strange is going down the right path. So he essentially starts to steal powers, and we get to see him kill a guy and steal his power in the end credit scene, which was awesome because that could mean that Mordo could be the next Doctor Strange villain, or Dormammu could team up with Mordo, which would be awesome, seeing those two classic Doctor Strange villains going head to head in a clash. So that would be great. That would just be amazing. Okay. So that's pretty much it for this review, everyone. This in the US still doesn't come out for a while. I think it's about a week. So hopefully, if you haven't seen the film, you can come back in about a week and watch this review. If you all like this video, please give it a thumbs up, and I have more videos coming on the way. You can click subscribe, hit that subscribe button. It means a lot to me, and it means a lot to me to hear all your feedback, everybody. As always, thank you all so much for watching. It means the world to me. And if you have forgotten or you didn't see my spoiler-free review, I give this movie an 8 out of 10. I will see you all next time. Goodbye.